Hey everybody, Jonathan Brandt, Go Out Living. We have special guests today. We have Paul Quinton, a spiritual coach and soon to be an author and podcast host. How are you doing today?
I'm good, thank you, Jonathan. It's lovely to be on. It's
Yeah,
yes, yeah, it's
it's
great. Yeah,
like I said, I am excited to have you on. I looked at your bio and it just, like I said, I just, man, I want to go there.
gotta
So,
resonate. Yes,
it
absolutely.
did. It excited me for some reason, and well, I know why, but with the passing of Christy, I think it just kind of hit me. So,
Yeah,
why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about what you do, and then we'll go from there.
yeah, absolutely. So, just a quick background. So, I sort of grew up in a spiritual, sort of psychic family. So, I was very much involved with the esoteric and the non-physical. We would do sort of seances like every Tuesday night. So we'd have the family in and friends that come in, and we talk to the non-physical people that passed over. Sort of rescue work, which we used to call it, so help spirits move on and also understanding and pass messages on. But then also higher beings would come through with more sort of growth and knowledge about how to affect our lives and stuff. So that was pretty much sort of my childhood growing up. And basically I lived a normal life. I was a teenager and I went to school, high school and everything, and grew up in a sort of interesting environment. And I was in the military. I've traveled a lot around the world. I worked on the cruise ships, and yeah, I've just been doing a lot of things. And it's only since probably 2000 really is when I sort of got back into this work as a full-time job. And so it's been, yeah, what, sort of 24, 25 years now. So basically I am a cranial sacral therapist, a massage therapist. That's how I sort of started, and that's how I traveled. I traveled with those modalities, which were great. And then, probably about 10 years ago, I got more into the channeling process. And then I started to bring through my modality, which is my sort of teaching platform, and created all these different teaching sort of networks and bits and pieces that people can sort of work with. And then obviously I've always been a one-to-one sort of spiritual coach, mentor, and as in the old word, the healer, as we don't use that redundant word anymore. We'll get into that later. So yeah, so it's really I've worked sort of like at that sort of soul base because of my esoteric understanding, and for me that's reality. The physical world is the illusion in my perspective, in my growing up and understanding that we shape everything through our thoughts, through our feelings. And so that sort of brought me into the ingrained sort of one-to-one work, healing work, and then sort of everything sort of spiraled out of that. The channeling, the writing, and I do my talks and videos, etc. But really, it's that sort of bringing people into that present moment. And the great thing about our work is that obviously we're working a lot with that feminine energy, it's now rebirthing itself, but teaching people they're already perfect, already powerful, and it's just the conditioning that you cannot feel it, because a lot of people sort of race to this spirituality, leave their jobs, I need to be better, I need to do this, and it sort of becomes a mental outward pursuit. But that's not the case. That's the illusion of 3D reality, really. It's all like everywhere's outwards. So it's about bringing back that present moment, becoming more human, and finding that space. And it's beautiful because it sort of takes all away the and it was only about 10 years ago that I sort of stripped away all my teachings, everything that I've done, all my modalities, and I've got 5, 6 modalities, and they sort of channel through and they say, look, strip all this back, use universal law to heal and transform and help people, because it's based on quantum physics, it's based on mathematics, it's based on Bruce Lipton, Einstein, Dr. Emoto that did the experiments around water in the body, and how we sort of can transform consciousness just by being in our house. Because a lot of people, especially in the 90s, 2000s, when everything sort of spirituality started really opening up, everyone was going to India, Machu Picchu, climbing up Mount Everest, fair enough and great. But,
Right.
and we had to go to that extreme and then come back to the center. Like everything oscillates in polarity. So, but now we're sort of trying to simplify, because everyone's exhausted, everyone's fed up, misinformation, don't know what's really going on, can't get real answers to real problems. And so Spirit said, look, we just simplify the process, make it very tangible, very easy. Just follow a simple sort of procedure based on these universal laws. And this also then brings the mainstream in, because a lot of people debunk this sort of spirituality. They don't understand it because it's not taught, it's not felt. And, so it's really about bridging the science and the spirituality at the moment. Sort of, therapists worth their salt now are bridging those two and really sort of making it more tangible for people that are stuck, that are fed up of being fed up. And so that's where we're at right now in this present moment. So it's a lot of things are transforming at the moment. 2026 has been a crazy year so far.
I was gonna say, I can only imagine. I mean, what comes to mind right away is, okay, we're on our phones, we're in front of computers, there's this massive information pipeline that's running
Mm,
through us constantly. And then, like you said, people jump straight
mm.
to the spiritual side, but usually overstep it.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
that, but you're trying to find that middle ground.
Yes, yes. Yeah, absolutely. Because the thing is when the mental body or the ego gets involved, it wants to do everything without sort of evolving the other parts. If you look at us as a four-part system, physical, mental, emotional, and soul or spiritual, all of those have to graduate together. So what happened in the early 90s, 2000s is, okay, I want to be spiritual. I want to go and find this, I want to find myself, or I want to find this enlightenment, or however, whatever they were going on. Ascension was the main word, which is again another illusion. I'll get into that in a minute. And so what happened is their mental energy and their emotional body was still stuck in the past, still stuck in their trauma, still stuck in their ancestral energies, or their early childhood stuff. And I found a lot of people come back home exhausted because they sort of followed these sort of sometimes leaders and pursuits, and really didn't feel anything because they hadn't allowed the growth to come from within. It was an external validity, and obviously that doesn't really work. And so I think it's really important that obviously people coming back into their bodies. And there's obviously a lot of talk about ascension now. The Spirit have been very, very clear that this whole I don't want to be human, I want to evolve, I want to be here, I want to be there, you miss the point. And as soon as you do that, you detach from your true self. What they're saying is you need to be human. You need to be an awakened human being, which means being soul aligned, soul present. So only when you can feel that energy around you, and it's amazing. And I've seen many transformations over the years, obviously, but it's almost like, and everyone sort of says, and I've gone through this myself, that when you feel that energy, all of that worry, stress, and fear sort of starts to fade away. You'll still have it because you're in a world of polarity, but the intensity of it is surmountable. And many people just say, look, I just stepped back and everything started to manifest in front of me. Because we're super conscious beings. We're just conditioned not to feel it. We're creators, we're manifests, we're alchemists. And it's so powerful when you can come back to the truth. And the cosmic joke is what about 10 years ago, I always laugh at this, but they said, whatever they tell you to do on Earth, do the opposite.
I like it. It's so true, though. Oh, I love it.
So,
Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
absolutely. Yeah. So it's
Do you
yeah, I mean, yeah, go on, please. Yeah.
do you believe that it takes something to get you to your spiritual side, as far as, you talked about, healing, or if you've gone through something, is that a kind of a trigger that you are opening yourself up to that?
Absolutely, absolutely. So obviously we always teach that there's no such thing as negative and positive. So when people talk, we don't even use the word evil, we say shadow and light. So all the shadow energy is when the light turns away on itself, which is why it's called the shadow. It's always behind you. So it's when you turn on yourself. So we're constantly oscillating. So we are shadow and light. You can't be one without the other. This place would be void. So what we see is there's always a positive experience in a shadow experience, or a negative experience, or calamity or trauma, whatever, because ultimately it's a catalyst to wake us up. So the soul, and let's redefine karma, because a lot of people think this karma is sort of black and white, but it's not really. Karma is, in truth, in essence, is the soul will step in and it will trigger experiences you may perceive through the human eyes as negative, to awaken you to something unresolved. So you keep getting abandoned, you keep getting abused, for example. What the ego mind does without this information, it will start to judge, or it will start to become the recluse. Okay, that's just life. I'm never going to be happy. I'll just accept it. So you don't go anywhere. You just stay in that victim archetype. So what karma is, and what the soul will do, is it will create a trigger for you to see what you cannot see within yourself. So the abuse and the abandonment, and again, just examples, instead of going, oh, I'm being abused, men or women always do this to me, blah, 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 blah. Put your hand up, and this is where Einstein's stuff comes in. It's that inquisitiveness that breaks the unilateral state. When you're inquisitive, go, why am I being abandoned? Not blaming the other person. When you take responsibility, because the universe, or shall we say the 3D world, is everything's a mirror. You are creating those experiences. You are asking that person on the soul level to abandon you so you can awaken to the wound. Everything's magnetic. If you don't have an abandonment wound, you cannot be abandoned. This is where the physics comes in. So it's really about putting your hand up and saying, why? And as soon as you do that with a genuine intention, not from the head, from the heart, why? Synchronicity will unfold. Things will happen. You'll have a conversation the next day, you'll read a video, you'll be on YouTube, go, there's my answer. Oh, that's what I need to do. The universe will always bring everything to you when you are open. So it's really about, okay, put my hand up. Why? The inquisitiveness breaks the unilateral state, basically.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, so we were driving to Christy's funeral, and my son, and here's my thing. I think in my mind, kids probably make it easier. It's simpler. But he goes, Dad, how do we know Mom is here? Okay, here we go. And as we were doing that, Christy always liked cows. Cows were her thing. I am going to be getting a tattoo of a cow because she had it and she went to heaven with it. Now I have to get one. It's a Highland cow.
Absolutely. Okay, nice.
But so we're driving and there's a pasture right there that it's usually corn. And all of a sudden there's cows everywhere. I've never seen that. Since living there, we had never seen that. And I looked at my son, I go, there's Mom.
Yeah.
Part of you are going, really? How did this just happen? But if you're open to it, that's kind of what you're talking about.
Yeah. You will see it. You will see it. And look, a lot of people are talking about this split that's going. I don't know if you're aware of this, like the 2026 is about this sort of split of consciousness now, where sort of the old Earth and new Earth. Look, it's a whole conversation. I'm not going to get into it. And there's a lot of, but basically the concept is, and this goes for any time really, it will be more prevalent now because of this shift that we're going through. And again, that ascension thing I was talking about, it's about evolution, not ascension. Because we're already perfect. We're already everywhere. So basically, if you are conscious of what is unconscious, and you work on yourself, and you shift the heavy magnetics, which is the emotional trauma, the mental fatigue, you will become what we call untouchable. So you can walk into a room and not be pulled out by everyone else's vibrations. When you walk into a room and you feel really drained because your energy is open or your vibration's too low, so it just sort of attaches to you. So what happens is, when you raise your vibration, it comes down to the atom, because the new consciousness of the atom is spinning faster. So the old density of the old world can't fit into this new space. So you could walk into the supermarket and see abundance everywhere. All your products, beautiful fruits, everything. The person next to you that has the lower vibration could walk in and they'll see scarcity. They won't be able to find what they see. because the physical world is an illusion. But this is where the physics gets into it, and the quantum physics is about perception. So what you are projecting is what you create in your physical universe. So those cows, and I'm not saying they weren't there, and they probably were there physically, but sometimes they're not there physically.
Right.
Do you see what I mean?
I do.
It's just, yeah,
Yeah.
because it's perception. And when they want to, when the non-physical want to speak to you and make a point or show you something, they will create that very, very quickly, because we're architects beyond in the non-physical.
I'll be honest, it's a little scary as well. I say that because, again, tattoos. I'm going to go back to it. But my son, he's the tattoo artist is my wife's cousin for one. So we all know each other. But
Right, yeah.
it went from, okay, dad's getting a flag and all that, but no, you need an eagle. And I'm going, what the heck do I need an eagle? Where is this coming from? You know what I mean? And I'm doing the patriotic thing, whatever. So, and I'm kind of letting him do his thing. After Christy passed, though, there are eagles on the lake that I walk around. And all of a sudden, it made sense to me. How in the heck, but that's the scary part, how he brought it up even beforehand. And then I recognized that like right after him or after Christy passing. And now I see every day.
Yeah.
To me, she's right there. She's laughing at me, going, "I can't believe you're out working out in the snow or whatever." But I know she's laughing her butt off. But but yeah, but that's kind of that scary part of it is like, oh, and then you question yourself,
No, absolutely. And animals will always align with what is unconscious, what you're emanating, because animals are galactic teachers. They hold space for us. They're highly evolved in many ways. We see them as sort of redundant, just physical and, stupid, no emotions and blah, blah, blah. But actually, no, it's like having a dog and a cat in the house it brings all different things to the human experience. So when there's grief, which in truth, you're still emitting, obviously, on some level, that grief goes out into your biofield. And of course, that will then attract animals, because animals will come and support that. Some will take it on for you. It's what cats and dogs do. But ultimately, because she's just passed, she's going to be around you, supporting you, bringing things, making things lighter, going, hey, we're eternal beings. This is just a phase. So I will show you that, I'm okay, we're okay. And animals will definitely come in. Yeah, absolutely. And I've seen that many times, and it's a beautiful thing. And we really have to sort of honor the animal kingdom for what they bring.
Well, if you look back, I mean, throughout history, animals are very spiritual in so many different cultures. I mean,
look at American Indians over in your country.
Huge. Lakota. It's huge. I mean, so it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
How do you embrace it? If you're new to it, I mean, I'm new to it. I honestly am. I've always wanted a spiritual side. I didn't know what that meant. Now I'm not running to it, but I'm trying to embrace it. How do you embrace it?
Yeah, well, look, firstly, you're already spiritual. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. Again, so you're already a spiritual being, because you are a magnitude of consciousness. I could talk onto this in many ways, so let's just simplify and keep it simple. If you go off on tangents all the time. How do you embrace it? I do get some new people that come on, obviously, especially the workshop. So basically, really, how I approach it personally is I teach the basics of universal law, which is basically how to transform emotions. So the first thing about becoming spiritual is working on your emotional body, working on the ego consciousness, which would incorporate new neural programming, and obviously some form of meditation. But it doesn't see a lot. As soon as you say meditation to people, are, oh, I don't know how to meditate. There's this block. Just breathing and being in the present moment, well, that's meditation. Because when you are very still and present, that's when you can receive higher consciousness. That's when the veil, shall we say, thins. So you can sort of intuit. and go, oh, hang on, okay, yeah, I feel that. Oh, yeah, I know. You will find your own answers. So just simply being present and breathing, and you can get loads of stuff on YouTube to follow, or you can do your own breath, because the mind will always come in and debunk it. It'll be like, hang on, no, my name is Jack, and I'm a builder, and this is my belief systems, and and it will try and debunk that. So the thing at the beginning is understanding that the mind has a separate, or the ego has its separate gender to your higher self or your consciousness. So you have to sort of separate. That's a conditioned state built on a paradigm of misinformation, conditioning, societal programming, my peers, everything I've gone through. Certain people might be bad because they've done certain things to me. So you sort of create an archetype, a label. So you sort of have to sort of let that go, but you don't have to let it go like with a mental energy. You just have to say, okay, that's all happened to me, and that's well and good. And what I would do is then I would teach people to, for example, okay, when you were 7, you felt abandoned by your father. Okay, so let's just step back into that experience. A lot of people will bring up the emotion straight away. They may start to feel something. Okay, great. This is when the universal law comes in, which is a very simple technique. So I'd say, right, do this. Okay, that's how you process that. And then they go, well, I'm not feeling anything. Okay, that's fine. So let's talk to that 7-year-old. Because as soon as you observe, like I'm looking at you on the screen, I'm separate to you. I'm observing you. So this is where the physics comes in, because when you observe something, you attach to it. Now, because the intention is to heal, the intention is already in play. So when I'm looking at you, your consciousness is connecting with my consciousness, and our higher intelligence is working out things that we cannot see or hear. So when you do that as a meditation or healing, you're talking to your 7-year-old, you're observing your 7-year-old is your subconscious mind. It's all a denied, repressed trauma. So his face might change. He might look really sad, really angry. I say, why are you angry? Why are you sad? Get him to talk and have that conversation. And it always happens. And then the face starts to change, maybe after a day, 2 days, 3 days, sometimes straight away, depending. And that's the subconscious going, you've worked on that, it's cleared. And as soon as you observe something with the intention of healing or transformation, it's been acknowledged. That's all the universe asks of you, to acknowledge what you cannot see. The rest happens through universal law. That's the beauty of being higher conscious beings in a physical experience. That's just where the laws come in. It will start to shift it, because it's your highest will to heal yourself. We're not here to be victims. So by observation, talking, feeling, everyone can do that, because everyone's got a story. Everyone's traumatized in some way. So you could just sit there right now, close your eyes and go into 10 different things, I'm sure, and go, oh, that's made me feel angry. That's made me feel sad. And that is the start to spirituality. It's about clearing yourself. You don't have to become spiritual. You have to be unconditioned. That's all it is. I hope that's it. I told you I'd go off on a tangent.
No, I mean,
That's simplified.
no, but that's what people need. I mean, it's that misunderstanding of all of it. It won't make sense until it makes sense, right?
Yeah. No, totally. And another, just quickly, another thing is stop reacting to the story. You are creating the story, because everything you're projecting. So you have an argument with someone in the street that you don't know. You've asked them on a soul level before to have that argument to trigger the anger in you. Because if you don't feel the anger, how are you going to resolve it? You cannot transform anything you do not feel. So never react to the story. That is the first way into being, if you want to call it, becoming spiritual. But actually, truth is becoming sovereign of what you are and who you are, and taking responsibility for what is unresolved in you. The problem is this is not taught at school, It's
Well,
so it's very hard,
Right, but that brings up a point. Stress is I keep saying it. I'm stressed out because but I'm doing it to myself.
Yeah, totally. And stress is not even an emotion. It's a reaction to it's a reaction to giving out our energy without drawing it back.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
yeah. The only reason illness and disease manifests is because if you look at a cell in the body, when the cell sort of decays, when they talk about viruses, bacteria, they sort okay, the cell's been taken over, it's been it's been controlled by this virus, blah blah blah, and it's killing all the mitochondria and the energy of the cell. So if you look at that from a non-physical perspective, what happens is because we are conditioned not to believe that we are sovereign beings, that we are victims, that we need to give our power away to God or to the government or medical, whatever. As soon as you do that, you disempower yourself. And what happens is the energy in the cells becomes unilateral. So it holds. Now, when anything holds in one space, it will start to manifest an illness or disease because everything in the universe moves in oscillation. It's the same as the wave comes in the ocean. Neutrons, particles that move through the universe in space, are all in oscillation. So everything needs to move in oscillation. When oscillation's in play, you can draw in divine current, which is higher information, which is intuition, psychic awareness. Hang on, no, that's not right. I could speak for myself. No, I'm not listening to that. I know what's right. And you feel it. It's not like not ego or stubbornness. It's just because what you're doing is you're allowing information to come into the cells. So the cells are communicators. So when you work on yourself and you change your vibration, i.e. working on your emotions, you can go and sit in a restaurant next to someone that's really heavy but wants to awaken. And your cells will talk to their cells the whole time. You might be sitting in that restaurant for 3 hours. You'll never even look at that person. But there is a lot of communication going on. And if that person wants to awaken, your information is passed to their cells. That then triggers synchronicity in their life. So the next day, they might go, oh, that pain has gone. They may get a healing. Or they go, do you know what? Now's the time to go to the gym. Or now's the time to work on my dad issues. Because you've awoken them, because you're awake. This is how light is spread on the planet. It's not about rallying and throwing stuff at Congress. Right. It's about what you trigger in your own self. That emanates out. You're a power machine. If you work on yourself, your aura spreads. You can walk down the street and affect 100 people in a positive way just by being authentic. That's the power of light. And
smiling and saying good morning.
Everyone can do it. Yeah,
yes.
Yeah.
Smiling and saying good morning. I mean, I do that on my walk.
Absolutely.
And I got people that, you can tell they're very much into themselves, and they probably sit there and go, God, I can't, it's this kid again, or guy, whatever. But I do that to everybody. Good morning. I mean, but it's gotten more people to smile.
Absolutely. Yeah. Smiling's amazing. Even when you don't want to do a task. Sometimes in the gym, I'm like, oh God, I've got to get over it. As soon as I smile, you can start doing it. It's like, it just changes your physiology. It's like amazing.
Power that comes from it is amazing. That is my daily routine now, and it gets me going. I can't live without it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's amazing. Well done. Yeah, that's brilliant.
From somebody going through disease, it's tough either way. I mean, you're trying to trust in your doctors. You're trying to trust in, everybody's telling you to do something differently. And from the mental side, I mean, it is overwhelming. I can tell you from my, what I went through. How can you help people like that in those situations? Or what do they need to do to help heal themselves?
Yeah. So look, I'm going to speak from what I've been taught from the other side, like non-physical. Basically, they have said to me that all disease and illness has a mental or emotional host. They have been very, very clear that the body is perfect. It's a perfect running machine. And it's our thoughts and belief systems and our emotions that let it down. So that's great, because straight away, as soon as you hear that and resonate with that, you go, I'm back in control of my body. That's the number one thing, because the medical and society doesn't tell you you're in control. It says you're at the whim, because as soon as they put that disease issue on I went to America last year, I think it was the year before, and the amount of medical commercials, it's unbelievable. I couldn't believe it. Don't get me wrong. In England, we sell insurance. You sell medical insurance.
No, it never ends. Trust me.
It never ends. I couldn't believe it. It's
I
just like,
didn't even know, like,
it's like,
yeah, I don't even know what a condition is, and all of a sudden there's a pill for it. But yeah.
yeah, exactly. So sorry, I got off topic there. What was I saying? Sorry. What's that question?
Uh,
Oh,
how to what were we talking about? Healing. Trying to talk yourself into it, or trying to find that mental side of you to heal yourself.
yes. So
Or so.
it's yeah. So basically, it starts with, again, being inquisitive. Look. The modern medicine. We don't want to debunk that because it has its place, but it's based on the pharmaceutical industry. Let's be clear. You know, all medical training are owned by pharmaceutical, so it's fine, and I understand that, and it has its place, and that's okay, and it works. And you know, I've broken my leg. I've gone through things without modern medicine because you don't have a witch doctor anymore, so you don't know anyone to look after. You need, you know, but ultimately the problem is it's symptom based. So look, for cancer, for example, like I said to you, we spoke, I had prostate cancer. Okay. But that came from a deep abuse pattern within my father's ancestral line. And when I got it, I was like, they didn't tell me. And they wanted me to walk through that experience like everyone else goes through. Because to be honest, like, you know, when you work with spirit, generally I get a lot of information before things happen. You know, I'm aware of stuff, but this I had to walk through, and I was so humbled, and I actually had gratitude for it. And it was almost like, and I'll just share my story quickly because I think it's important
Please.
that the catalyst, and it comes back to what you said, how trauma can take you into something. And I think that when we have such an experience like that, a loss or our own body breaks down, it's a cry at the deepest level of the soul saying, please listen. Please listen to what's going on inside. And it's when you can get to that space of, it's sort of, you become very humble when you're in that space. You know, the ego drops away very quickly, and you're listening, you're more, you know, and it's that vulnerability. And if you can embrace that vulnerability, and you can start to change yourself very, very quickly. And I think you have to be humble in the space first. And that's when you go, inquisitive. And I said, okay, so what is my cancer about? And it took me into this deep abuse. I knew it was there, but I hadn't seen my physical father because I grew up with my stepfather. He actually left my mum, or they divorced when she was 5 months pregnant. So I was carrying all of their arguments, their abuse, and their, you know, confrontation. So that made me feel very scared, very alone. I didn't trust the masculine. So what happened is, because of that abandonment issue, because prostate is all around the sacral base chakra, which is where we hold the abuse and abandonment wounds. So that's why a lot of men get prostate cancer, because a lot of men are detached from their emotions, have been told to toughen up, don't deal with your feelings, suppress it. So those emotions go somewhere, and the only way they're going to come out generally is out of that area, because that's the area of the body where we hold those types of experiences and emotions. And so what happens is that it will manifest. And so basically, I had to then walk through the mainstream. And I was like, why can't I do it the natural way? Like I know of people that have done it, change their diet and all of that. And there's a part of me is like, well, it just happened so quickly, and I wasn't told. So, and that's where the humility came in. And so I had my prostate removed. So I went through the mainstream thing, and I was very grateful, obviously. And then for me not to bring that energy back, I have to work on myself. So every night I do religiously, I do a lot of healing on myself. I go back into those wounds. I talk to them. I use my techniques basically. So I'm not manifesting it, because the problem is with modern medicine, if you remove something, a lot of the times, and I'm not saying a lot of the times because it's subjective, obviously, and some people can remove it and it's gone because they've manifested physically, they've taken it out. Okay, no problem. But, and you do get recurring illnesses coming back, because that everything's energy. So you can remove the physical mass, but the energy is still there. What triggered it in the first place? So this is where you've got to dive deep into your emotional trauma. You only need to look at 4 things, basically: betrayal, abuse, abandonment, and sort of loneliness and separation. They're the basic 4 imprints that all human beings are running from in their subconscious. So if you can dive into those, you are going to trigger a catalyst for healing, and your body is going to get better. Your health, your skin will get better. You'll look more vitality. Your youth will come back. You'll get more strength. The joints will change, because the body is holding the trauma. The body is telling you there's something wrong. But what do we do in modern? We go to the doctor and get a pill for it. As soon as you do that, you stay in the victim cycle. And what does long-term medication do? Depletes the liver. And how many medications do you have to take for one medication? 3, generally. 2 side effect medications. And it becomes a cycle of dependency. So it's, yeah.
But and that's the tough part, though, is when you're being told, yeah, you got to do this, even though you know it's bad for you. I mean, it's just,
yeah. So that answer is seek outside, because there's so many genuine therapists that will teach energy and consciousness out there now, obviously including myself. And we do it from such a lot of therapists, and they told me this. They said, look, you cannot have textbook therapists anymore, because you have to walk the path. How can I help someone that's had cancer? How can I really resonate with their emotional energy, their pain, their mental freak out, if you haven't been through it? So they're saying that all therapists have to walk through that experience themselves on some level. So the best therapists are the most traumatized people, basically, because you can resonate.
That's the same with the doctors. If they haven't been through it,
they haven't. Exactly. A lot of them,
like I said, I did work in the medical world as a CNA, a surge tech, medical helicopter pilot, what have you.
Yeah.
I know both sides of it. Now I'm more in the holistic, because honestly, it's such a turnoff what they're doing on their side at the moment. Not saying that they saved my life. I admit that 100%. But the negative side of it is sometimes you just feel like a number. Sometimes you just, they're not really listening. There's the empathy part isn't necessarily there. There's a lot that, and there's a lot that just needs to be worked on. And I think you bring up a great point. They just don't know because they haven't been there.
No, they don't know.
Well, and pharmaceutical has a ton of money.
Yeah. It's shocking, and my girlfriend now, and they're saying that 1 in 10 women have endometriosis. And there's a real outcry now, and they even said, if this was a male problem, it would have been sorted 15 years ago. And 1 in 10, they're talking hundreds of millions of women around the world, and they're all suffering. And the modern medicine is, let's just take all the womb out and the fallopian tubes and just remove it. Oh, it's a hormone issue. Nothing to do with that. This is to do, obviously, with excuse me. Obviously, behind it is the energy, because most women now, and I've been working, like I said, 23 years full time with this, and I've seen the trauma in women's consciousness. Now, it sits either in the thyroid, because their voice has been shut down, or all of that abuse that they've carried through the ancestral of being, persecuted by the masculine, because we've gone through that for so many hundreds of years. And so what's happening now in women is, because they're not getting acknowledgement of that abuse and abandonment, it's then manifesting like prostate cancer in men, endometriosis, or they get breast cancer, or, it's some form, or the thyroid shuts down because of the expression, because the thyroid is connected to the throat chakra, which is all about communication. So if you've been told you're not good enough, shut up, this and that. And don't forget, we are, regardless of your belief systems, and this is not just one life, we are eternal beings. So we do carry the weight of all of that energy, and it will manifest in the body. So it's important to just, come to simplify things, really. If you are in a state of disease, ease means you're out of ease. You're slightly out of alignment with yourself. It doesn't mean it has to be the end. It's just a mirror of something. So you always have power over everything that's going on. So if you go to the doctor and they say, well, okay, that's that fine. First thing, look at the Eastern medicine. Look at a Chinese doctor, because a Chinese doctor will tell you very different things, and they will give you more information about the physical body that modern medicine fails with. They might not necessarily give you the root cause of the energy behind it, but what they'll do is they'll get the physical body much more in alignment, so you're in a healthier space to then deal with the emotions that come up. Because if you're on medication, a lot of the times you lose your vitality, you're tired, you sleep, you get angry, and you can't work on yourself when you're in that space.
Right.
But if your physical body's feeling a bit better, you've got more energy, you can sit there for half an hour and go, do you know what, I'm going to work on my anger now, because I feel okay to do it. So you've got to seek alternative methods, and there's so much out there now. Just go on YouTube. YouTube's fantastic now. There's so much stuff on there. You know, obviously there's a lot of misinformation, but when you, and I always say this to people when I teach and when I give messages, I say, I'm about to tell you this, but don't just believe me, because that's the problem with misinformation. We just believe everything we listen. I said, when I say this, feel what I'm saying. Does that resonate with you? And I say that, and it stops people sometimes. Go, actually, oh yeah, maybe. And even though it brings them into that space, at least they start to listen to their own intuition. And that's the biggest thing, is about getting people to listen to their intuition. Women are very good at it, but it gets shut down straight away. You know, men, we're sort of more trained in the mental energy. Now there's twofold. Men got their hearts shut down for war. We know that. But also we're more mental, women are more emotional. So they're more connected to that energy. So that's why we say the gut feeling in men, because the emotional energy sits in the gut. That's the third brain. That's the brain that tells you, hang on, that's not good. But we're not trained to listen to it.
Right.
So
right.
it's about listening. It's about listening. You just got to step back a bit and just take a few breaths and go, do you know what? I'm going to do something a bit different today. I'm going to shake it up a bit. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that the same way. I'm going to just vary my approach to things. As soon as you make a little bit of change, what happens is that unilateral energy starts to break, and then your high consciousness can start to move in. And again, it comes down to the physics of it all. So.
Well, you brought up a good point too, is, you know, platforms like this is allowing us who have been through a lot to get it out there. And to me,
absolutely.
I'm just an inspiration. You know,
Yeah.
it's that person needs to learn for themselves, and they're, as a community, they're the ones that will actually change everything, if you want to look at it that way, you know. And we're just giving them the platform to listen to it, you know, from our side, and let them decide for themselves.
Absolutely. And I think, you know, the main thing is that you don't have to be at the whim of society. You know, we are all sovereign beings. I know that 100%, because I've been involved in this field, and I've seen things that are, you know, and I understand it and I feel it, and I've gone through things. So I can confidently say that we are definitely empowered beings. And again, that, like I said at the beginning, we're just conditioned not to feel it. So you can take back control at any time, but you have to just think us outside the box a little bit. So you're going to go to the doctor, they're going to tell you the same old thing, but you got to go, hang on, let me just, you know, when they always say you get an operation, get three diagnoses.
Yep.
Yeah. But you do that outside of the medical. So you look at naturopath, homeopath, Chinese medicine, Ayurvedic, Indian medicine, because I tell you what, their medicine is ancient and it's rooted. It's modern medicine in its infancy.
I wish I would have known that when I was going through everything. That's what drives me nuts, is how I didn't know anything. I really didn't, you know. And like, I do Tai Chi now. It's been around for thousands of years.
Very good. Yeah.
Why was I not doing it before, you know? Or, okay, I'm taking berberine.
Yeah.
Again, it's been around forever. These are the, this is why we're doing this.
Yeah, absolutely. It's absolutely. It's, you know, again, it's just about choice. Yeah.
It is. It's knowing what's out there. That's the biggest thing. A lot of people just don't even know it's there, or, okay, it's alternative, so we're just not going to look at it. We're starting to understand that's not the best way to do it, because guess what? Either you're going through something, your family's going through something, your friends are going through something. Everybody has somebody going through something right now.
Yeah,
Everybody.
yeah,
Millions and
absolutely.
millions of people over the world,
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's,
yeah, yeah.
I didn't know I'd ever be doing this, but here I
Yeah.
am. And
Exactly.
I've
You are.
never, I, I now know this is what I was supposed to do. And
Yeah, yeah,
I'm not
yeah,
only learning, but I hope there's so many others out there that are learning and finding those tools for themselves. That, it's
yeah,
just
yeah.
being able to have somebody like you on is just so tremendous, to allow them to understand a higher power.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And for your listeners, if they don't know Bruce Lipton, get his biology of belief, because a lot of people are stuck in this hereditary model of my grandfather got heart disease, I'm going to get heart disease. This is all a lie. He's debunked all that. Epigenetics. Change your thoughts, change your feelings, your emotions, and your environment, and you will stop that cycle. You will stop that cycle. And if you're about to have a child, if you do that before you have a child as well, then you're not going to imprint all that ancestral energy as well. But it doesn't matter. Even if you post, you can do it at any time. But just know that you're not at the whim of your ancestors or your family line, because, and a lot of people are stuck with that. It creates a lot of fear. Creates a lot of. I always hear people come to me and says, "Oh, this is history of this in my family," and they start to worry. And I say, "How long have you been worrying about that?" "Oh, since I heard it when I was 17." And they're 50 years old. You say you've been sitting with that for 33 years. That will manifest the illness, because fear will trigger what? Because you are creating it, because you're believing it's true. So it's the power of belief.
I
Yeah.
now have to tell my kids something different. Your parents both had cancer, but don't think about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I learn something every day. There you
There
go.
you go.
Honestly, it makes sense though. Why do
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
want them to be
That's how the
going through
placebo
and
effect
thinking,
works. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, for low
Yeah.
God. Again, this is why I'm doing it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, we're all here to learn from each other and hold space for each other, aren't we? So, it's if
Without a
you
doubt.
come with the right intention, it creates the right energy, and the right people will hear it, and it will help them. And it's a domino effect. That's the beauty of being in service, really. That's why I love my job as well, obviously, because helping someone is no greater reward. So, yeah,
There's not. And here's what's fun too. We can have fun doing this. It
absolutely,
doesn't have to be that
absolutely.
stringent, over your head stuff. This is what's
Yeah,
fun about it, folks. It's just
yeah.
enjoy life. That's what it's all
Enjoy life.
about. And
Yeah.
learn.
Yeah, yeah. And just live in the present.
Yeah.
Forget this milestones expectations. That's what actually kills us. Forget linear time doesn't exist anyway. It's an illusion. So just be present. So if you're present in the moment and wake up each day going, okay, I'm ready for whatever you need to give me, soul, that will change the vibration in your cells, your body. The fear will fade away, because what you're doing is there is only the present moment. You are creating the future in the present moment. So why are you worrying about it? The worry creates it. So just change your thinking, change the neural programming, and it's very, very simple. Healing can be very simple. We've convoluted everything to make it more left brain, like, it's this high achievement, this whole sort of thing. But ultimately, we're all the same. Everyone's equal. No one's better or less than you.
I think that's changing. I think we are looking more
Yeah,
simple. I really do. I think
yeah, yeah,
we're really understanding that we're just overwhelmed and that we have to.
yeah, yeah, yeah. The power is in the simplicity.
I
They've always
agree.
taught me that. Just strip all the crap away. This is how it works. Follow that. It's simple. But the hard thing is getting the mind to unwind.
Exactly. Exactly. But hopefully you do it before it's too late. That's the other
Yeah,
key to
exactly.
all of
Well, that's why
this.
we're here.
Yeah,
Prevention.
that's
Yeah,
learn from us,
yeah,
get
yeah,
get that mental part out there, and
yeah.
yeah, know you're going to live healthy. Talk
Exactly.
yourself into it.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. 100%.
All
Absolutely.
right. Paul Quinton, we are doing this again.
Yeah,
Guarantee you,
absolutely. Yeah,
we're doing
definitely
this
come back
again
on.
because I got so many more questions. But yeah, we are definitely going to do this again. It was an absolute pleasure, though. Again, we're learning a lot, and that's what matters.
No, thank you, Jonathan. That's been a pleasure as well. Lovely to talk to you. Great energy. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Paul. And to all of you, again, we appreciate you. We thank you for listening, and find the attitude, keep the attitude, go out living.